Hi Reddit, I'm Alice, 29F, and I've been financially supporting my younger brother, Matt, 26M, for several years now. Our parents passed away in a car accident when I was 23 and Matt was 20. It was a difficult time for both of us, but especially for Matt, who was still in college. I had just started my career in marketing and felt a strong responsibility to look after him. Growing up, our family didn't have much. Our parents worked multiple jobs to make ends meet, and we often had to make do with hand-me-downs and budget meals. Despite the financial struggles, our parents always encouraged us to dream big. Matt was particularly affected by this. He had grand ideas about his future but often struggled to follow through on them. After our parents' death, I took on the role of both sister and guardian to Matt. I helped him finish college, often sending money for his rent and groceries. Even after he graduated with a degree in business management, he had trouble holding down a steady job. He'd start something with enthusiasm but lose interest after a few months. I continued to support him financially, hoping he'd eventually find his path. About a year ago, Matt came to me with a business idea. He wanted to start a gym in our hometown. Matt had always been into fitness, spending hours at the local community center working out when we were teenagers. He'd often complained about the lack of a good gym in our area. At first, I was hesitant. Matt's track record with sticking to things wasn't great, and opening a business is a huge commitment. But Matt was persistent. He showed me a detailed business plan he'd worked on for months. He talked about how he'd researched the local market, found a potential location, and even had ideas for unique fitness classes that would set his gym apart. His enthusiasm was infectious, and I found myself getting excited about the idea too. After much consideration, I agreed to help him financially. I invested a significant portion of my savings, about $100,000, into his business. It was a risk, but I believed in him. I thought this might be the opportunity Matt needed to really apply himself and build something lasting. For the first few months, things seemed to be going well. Matt threw himself into setting up the gym. He found a great location in the center of town, bought top-of-the-line equipment, and hired a small staff of personal trainers. The gym started to gain members, and Matt seemed happier than I'd seen him in years. Meanwhile, my best friend Laura, 30F, had been a constant support through all of this. Laura and I met in high school when we were both 15. We clicked instantly over our shared love of music and our dreams of traveling the world. Over the years, we'd been through everything together, from trivial high school drama to more serious issues like my parents' death. Laura was there for me during the darkest days after losing my parents. She'd come over with takeout food, force me to get out of bed, and listen patiently as I cried and talked about my fears for the future. When I was overwhelmed with suddenly having to take care of Matt, Laura would step in and help, sometimes even letting him crash on her couch when he needed space. 5 years ago, Laura married Tom, 33M, a kind and hardworking accountant she met through work. I was her maid of honor at their wedding, and I remember thinking how perfect they seemed together. They bought a house in our hometown and settled into married life. I often spent weekends at their place, and we'd have game nights or backyard barbecues. Given how close we all were, I never suspected anything was amiss. That's why it was such a shock when I discovered that Matt and Laura had been secretly seeing each other. It happened on a Tuesday evening. I had some contracts for the gym that needed Matt's signature, so I went over to his apartment. I had a key, so I let myself in, calling out to him as I entered. I heard shuffling from the bedroom, and then Laura emerged, looking flustered. Matt followed, and it was clear from their disheveled appearance what had been going on. I stood there, frozen, as they tried to explain. They said they'd been seeing each other for 6 months, that they'd fallen in love, and that they hadn't known how to tell me. I left without saying much. I couldn't process what was happening. Over the next few days, both Matt and Laura tried to reach out to me. They sent messages explaining their side of things, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. I felt betrayed not just by their relationship, but by the fact that they'd hidden it from me for so long. When I finally confronted Matt, he didn't deny anything. He said that he and Laura had grown close while working on some marketing plans for the gym. One thing led to another, and they found themselves developing feelings for each other. Matt claimed that Laura's marriage to Tom was basically over anyway and that they were just waiting for the right time to tell everyone. I was furious. I told Matt that I couldn't support this behavior. I said that if this was how he was going to live his life, by hurting people and lying, then I couldn't continue to fund his business. Matt accused me of being controlling and mixing personal issues with business. He said that what happened between him and Laura had nothing to do with the gym. The news spread quickly through our family and friends circle. To my surprise, many of our relatives sided with Matt. They said I was being unreasonable and that Matt's personal life shouldn't affect our business arrangement. My cousin, Sarah, who I've always been close to, called me and said I was being too harsh. She argued that Matt was an adult and could make his own decisions, even if we didn't agree with them. Laura has been trying to reach out to me, leaving voicemails and sending text messages. She says she wants to explain everything, that things aren't as bad as they seem. But I haven't been able to bring myself to talk to her. The betrayal feels too fresh, too painful. I'm also grappling with whether I should tell Tom about the affair. He's been a good friend over the years, and the thought of him being in the dark about this makes me uncomfortable. But I'm not sure if it's my place to get involved. The whole situation has left me feeling lost and conflicted. On one hand, I want to support my brother and see him succeed. The gym was doing well, and it could be a great opportunity for him. On the other hand, I feel like continuing to support him financially would be condoning his behavior. I'm also struggling with the loss of my best friend. Laura has been such a big part of my life for so long, and now I feel like I've lost her too. The thought of them being together, building a life while destroying another, makes me sick. I don't know what to do. Am I wrong for pulling my support? Should I try to separate Matt's personal life from his business venture? Or am I right to stand my ground on this? Any advice would be appreciated. Update 1. It's been about 2 weeks since my initial post, and I wish I could say things have improved, but they've only gotten more complicated. The situation has escalated beyond just Matt, Laura, and me. It's now affecting our extended family and friend circle. First, let me address what happened with Tom. After much deliberation, I decided to meet with him. We met at a small coffee shop on the outskirts of town, away from prying eyes. When I told him about Matt and Laura's affair, his reaction was heartbreaking. He sat there, staring into his untouched coffee, as I explained everything I knew. Tom and Laura had been trying for a baby for the past year, and he thought the stress of that had been causing their recent issues. Finding out the truth devastated him. Tom thanked me for telling him, but I still feel guilty. I keep wondering if I did the right thing or if I should have let Laura be the one to come clean. Tom is now in the process of confronting Laura and considering his options moving forward. On the family front, things have gotten messy. My Aunt Claire, my mom's younger sister, called me yesterday. She was furious. Apparently, Matt had gone to her asking for a loan to keep the gym afloat since I pulled my funding. In his version of events, I abandoned him over a personal disagreement, leaving him in a difficult financial situation. Aunt Claire has always been close to both Matt and me. After our parents died, she often stepped in to help, inviting us for holiday dinners and offering emotional support. Now, she's firmly on Matt's side. She berated me for mixing personal issues with business and accused me of trying to control Matt's life. I tried to explain my side, but she wouldn't listen. This has caused a rift in our extended family. Some relatives, like my Uncle John and his wife, agree with Aunt Claire. They think I'm being too harsh on Matt and that I should separate his personal life from our business arrangement. Others, like my cousin Emily, understand my position but think I should try to mediate rather than cut ties completely. The situation with Laura has also gotten more complex. She's been telling people that her marriage to Tom was essentially over before she got involved with Matt. According to her, she and Tom had been having problems for months and were practically separated. She's painting their affair as something that happened naturally as her marriage was ending. The problem is, I know this isn't true. Tom was completely blindsided by the affair, and from our conversation, it's clear he thought they were working through normal marital issues, not on the brink of separation. Laura's attempts to rewrite history are frustrating and hurtful. Matt and Laura are still seeing each other, seemingly oblivious to the chaos they've caused. From what I've heard through mutual friends, they're talking about moving in together once Laura's divorce is finalized. It's as if they expect everyone to just accept their relationship and move on. As for the gym, it's struggling without my financial support. Matt has had to cut back on staff hours and is considering closing some of the less popular classes. He's been telling people that the gym's problems are my fault, that I pulled out my support at a crucial time. This has led to some of our old high school acquaintances, who are gym members, reaching out to me asking why I'm trying to sabotage my brother's dream. I'm feeling increasingly isolated. My phone is constantly buzzing with messages from family members and old friends, all weighing in on the situation. Some are supportive, but many are critical of my actions. It's overwhelming, and I've started to avoid social gatherings to escape the constant questions and judgment. Work has become my refuge. I've thrown myself into my job, taking on extra projects to keep my mind occupied. My boss has noticed and has been supportive, even offering me some time off if I need it. But I'm afraid that if I slow down, I'll have to fully confront the mess my personal life has become. I'm starting to question my decisions. Was I too hasty in pulling my support from the gym? Should I have tried harder to work things out with Matt? Am I being too judgmental about his relationship with Laura? But then I remember the look on Tom's face when I told him about the affair, and I feel justified in my actions. I don't know how to move forward from here. I want to repair my relationship with my brother, but I don't know if I can trust him again. I miss my best friend, but I'm not sure if Laura and I can ever go back to how we were. And now, with the family taking sides, I feel like I'm losing my support system. Any advice on how to navigate this situation would be appreciated. How do I stand my ground without alienating my entire family? Is there a way to support Matt's business without condoning his personal choices? And how do I start to rebuild my own life amidst all this chaos? Update 2. It's been a month since my last update, and the situation has continued to evolve. I'm writing this update because I feel like I'm at a crossroads, and I need some perspective. First, the news about Tom and Laura's divorce has spread. As I mentioned before, Tom confronted Laura after our conversation. From what I've heard, it was a difficult and emotional discussion. Laura initially tried to downplay the affair, sticking to her story about their marriage being essentially over. But when Tom revealed he knew the details, including how long it had been going on, she broke down and admitted to everything. They're now in the middle of divorce proceedings. Laura has moved out of their house and, to everyone's surprise, has moved in with Matt. They're not even trying to be discreet anymore. This has caused quite a stir in our small town, with people taking sides and gossip running rampant. Tom is understandably struggling. We've been in touch, and he's been seeing a therapist to help him process everything. He's grateful that I told him the truth, which makes me feel a bit better about my decision to get involved. However, the stress of the situation has started to affect his work, and he's considering moving to a different town to get a fresh start. As for Matt and the gym, things have taken an interesting turn. Last week, he showed up at my apartment unannounced. It was the first time we'd spoken face-to-face since our argument. He looked tired and stressed, not at all like the confident person who had pitched me the gym idea a year ago. Matt started by apologizing for how he had handled things with Laura. He admitted that they should have been honest from the beginning instead of sneaking around. However, he maintained that his relationship with Laura shouldn't affect our business arrangement. He then proceeded to ask if I would reconsider my decision to stop funding the gym. According to Matt, things have been tough since I pulled out. He's had to let go of 2 part-time employees and cut back on marketing, which has led to a decrease in new memberships. He said he was at risk of having to close down if things didn't improve soon. What really caught me off guard was when Matt mentioned that Laura had suggested they get a loan together to keep the gym going. Laura, who is in the middle of a messy divorce and has moved in with my brother, thinks they're in a position to take on more debt. It's like they're living in a bubble, completely disconnected from the reality of their actions. I was conflicted. On one hand, I still believe in the potential of the gym. It was doing well before all this drama, and I hate to see something I invested in fail. On the other hand, I'm not sure I can trust Matt's judgment anymore, especially with Laura involved. After thinking it over, I told Matt that I couldn't reinvest in the gym. I explained that it wasn't just about the money, but about trust. His actions had shown me that he wasn't ready for the responsibility of running a business. I suggested that if he was serious about saving the gym, he should look for other investors or consider selling to someone who could manage it better. Matt didn't take this well. He accused me of being vindictive and letting personal issues cloud my judgment. He said that Laura was right, that I was trying to control his life by withholding financial support. We ended up in a heated argument, with years of unresolved issues coming to the surface. He left angry, and we haven't spoken since. The family situation hasn't improved either. Aunt Claire is still firmly on Matt's side. She's been telling other family members that I'm being cruel and unsupportive. Some relatives have started to distance themselves from me, and I wasn't invited to the last family gathering. I'm feeling increasingly isolated. My work, which was once a refuge, is starting to suffer. I'm having trouble concentrating, and my boss has noticed. He's been understanding so far, but I'm worried about the long-term impact on my career. I'm also grappling with the loss of my friendship with Laura. Despite everything, there are moments when I miss her terribly. We had been friends for so long, and it's hard to imagine my life without her in it. But then I remember her betrayal, both to me and to Tom, and I feel angry all over again. I'm at a loss for what to do next. Part of me wants to wash my hands of the whole situation and start fresh somewhere else. Another part feels responsible for Matt and doesn't want to see him fail. And yet another part is tired of being the responsible one and wishes I could just focus on my own life for once. I could use some advice. Am I being too harsh by refusing to reinvest in the gym? How do I start to rebuild my relationships with my family? And most importantly, how do I move forward from here? Update 3. It's been several months since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have progressed. Unfortunately, the situation hasn't improved as much as I'd hoped, but there have been some significant developments. First, let's talk about the gym. Despite Matt and Laura's efforts, they weren't able to secure additional funding or keep the business afloat. The gym officially closed its doors last month. It was a difficult moment for Matt, who had put so much of himself into the venture. I heard about the closure through a mutual friend, as Matt and I still aren't on speaking terms. Matt and Laura's relationship has also hit some rough patches. They're still together, but from what I've gathered, the reality of their situation is starting to set in. They're living in a small apartment on the outskirts of town, both unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. The excitement of their affair has worn off, replaced by the stress of financial difficulties and the social fallout from their actions. Laura's divorce from Tom was finalized last week. Tom decided to take that job offer in another city, wanting a fresh start away from all the drama. Before he left, we met for coffee one last time. He thanked me again for being honest with him and said that while the past few months had been incredibly difficult, he was looking forward to starting over. It was a bittersweet moment. I'm glad Tom is moving forward, but I feel guilty about the role I played in upending his life. As for my family, the situation remains tense. Aunt Claire is still not speaking to me, and several other relatives continue to side with Matt. However, a few family members have started to come around. My cousin Emily reached out recently, saying she understands why I made the decisions I did. She's been trying to mediate between Matt and me, but so far, neither of us has been ready to talk. I've decided to take a step back from family gatherings for now. It's been hard, especially during holidays, but I feel it's necessary for my mental health. I'm focusing on building a support network outside of my family. I've joined a local book club and have been spending more time with colleagues outside of work. It's not the same as having my family around, but it's helping me feel less isolated. On a personal level, I'm slowly starting to heal. I've been seeing a therapist to work through my feelings of guilt, anger, and loss. It's been helpful to have a neutral party to talk to about everything that's happened. My therapist has been encouraging me to focus on self-care and to set clear boundaries with my family and Matt. Work has been a saving grace through all of this. I threw myself into my job, and it paid off. I recently got a promotion. The increased responsibilities have been a welcome distraction, and the boost to my income has helped ease some of the financial strain from losing my investment in Matt's gym. As for Matt and Laura, I haven't spoken directly to either of them in months. From what I hear through the grapevine, they're struggling. The closure of the gym hit Matt hard, and he's been having trouble finding steady employment. Laura's reputation in town has taken a hit, making it difficult for her to find work as well. Part of me feels sorry for them, but another part feels like they're facing the consequences of their actions. I've had moments of weakness where I've considered reaching out to them or offering financial help. But each time, I remind myself of the betrayal and the importance of maintaining the boundaries I've set. It's not easy, especially when I think about how close Matt and I used to be, but I believe it's necessary for my own well-being. Looking ahead, I'm not sure what the future holds for my relationship with Matt or Laura. I don't know if we'll ever be able to repair the damage that's been done. For now, I'm focusing on healing and moving forward with my life. I'm learning to be okay with the uncertainty and to prioritize my own needs and growth. This whole experience has taught me a lot about setting boundaries, the importance of honesty, and the complexity of family dynamics. While it's been incredibly difficult, I'm starting to see it as an opportunity for personal growth and self-discovery. I want to thank everyone who has offered advice and support throughout this ordeal. Your perspectives have been invaluable in helping me navigate this challenging time. If anyone has gone through similar experiences or has advice on rebuilding family relationships after something like this, I'd be grateful to hear it. Thank you for listening to my story.